rest in peace to Tracy Braxton, okay? Rest in peace, Tracy. I want to say that first and foremost before we talk about anything else. I'm Tammy. This is TammyTalks. We are here to talk The Braxtons, Season 1, Episode 1. The Braxtons Are Back. This was a very heavy, emotional, type of episode, right? It wasn't bad, but I think it set the tone for what we can expect out of this season. So, if you're brand new to the channel or a returning viewer that is just not yet subscribed, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button, thumbs up the video, and then leave your comments down below. Comments, let's talk about that. So, I think that we need to set a precedent in the comment section, at least for my channel. What I don't want is for people to feel as if the comment section is a dumping ground for the other four sisters and Miss E. We all know the hoopla. We all know the hype. We all know the media situation that was going on where the last season of Braxton Family Values, the sisters were all in contract negotiations. They felt that they should be paid more money. They felt that they are bringing in all the views, they are bringing in the money to WeTV, which they were, and they wanted more money. Tracy wanted to continue filming the show. So Tracy, that last season, filmed with like Flavor Flav, New York, I think Kim Whitley. She filmed with a bunch of people, right? The ratings were not good. The ratings were trash. I recall like a lot of people being on Twitter and attacking the other sisters, right? I'm not going to sit up here and lie like a lot of y'all and front like a lot of y'all that Tracy was my favorite. Tracy is definitely missed on this show. Like her presence is missed. It's weird seeing just the four sisters together. But I'm not going to sit up here like some of y'all are doing and act as if Tracy was my absolute favorite. A lot of y'all are lying about that. The way that y'all are like wanting to avenge Tracy's name now, I'm not going to watch it and I'm not going to do this. And they didn't like their sister. We don't know what their family dynamic was. We don't. We know what we saw on television. But I guess my question is to some of y'all that feel that y'all are now Tracy's biggest fans, why didn't y'all watch that season? The ratings were terrible. Why didn't y'all buy Tracy's album when the album came out? So don't come in the comments saying that the sisters were horrible to Tracy and they were wrong and all this other stuff. We do not know their family dynamic. There is literally no reason to add insult to injury. There's no reason to pour salt in the wound. This is still a family of four sisters, a mother, a father, a husband, and a child and a grandbaby that are grieving somebody that they lost in their life. Keep it cute in the comments. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. So, the ladies are back. Everybody looks good. Mama Braxton, Miss E, came in and was like, the show should have never been canceled. Nah. It was tearing y'all family apart. Y'all did more arguing and fussing than anything else. So when the season starts, we see the ladies are all in glam or Tony's getting glammed up. The ladies are arriving to Tony's house because they're going to do grief counseling, which they all need. They're going to do grief counseling. So the first real scene that we get is Trina. So Trina is cooking. She's still married to Vaughn. She's making like some queso or something and like a dip. And Vaughn is asking like, what else we going to have? You going to make broccoli? Why you want broccoli with queso dip? She ain't making fondue. I don't know. His presence irritated me in this scene because I felt like he wasn't adding anything to it. So we find out that they have been married for 5 years now, still very much in love. Trina feels it's been hard because after Tracy's passing, she thought that the sisters would all come together and be closer and lean on each other while they grieved, and that was not the case. They're pretty much estranged now. So I think it goes one or two ways with grief. And I want to be very, very careful like throughout this episode because everybody grieves differently, right? But there are some times when different people grieve and they want to be left alone. They want to deal with it. They submerge themselves in work and other activities and in like their own family core. And then there are people that want to grieve by constantly being around other people. Trina in this case seems like a person that wanted to be around her sisters more, and that just wasn't the case. We find out that little Kevin Jr., Tracy's son, does not speak to his dad as much as Trina thinks that he should. So I'm wondering what that dynamic is. And Trina is like, to be fair, you have Lil Kevin that is grieving the loss of his mom and his best friend, and then you have Kevin Sr. that lost his wife and his best friend. So yeah, they're grieving the same person just differently. So it's a hard dynamic for them to tackle. I think especially because Kevin Jr. is an adult, he's grown, he's married. So because he's grown and he's married, he has his own family. I think it's just a little different dynamic. So Trina tells Vaughn that Tony wants everybody to go to dinner. She has something she wants to tell them. So Trina's kind of on pins and needles because last time we had this big we need to all talk, it was because of Tracy being sick. So she's a little apprehensive about that. So we get to dinner and it's odd. There's 6 chairs there. And I mean, you can't have a table with 5. You can if it's a round table, but it's odd just like not seeing Tracy walk in the room with them as well. So Tony said, they're asking Tony, are you single? She said she feels single. She's pretty much single. She was engaged and then she's not engaged. And it's like, Tony, you and Birdman still together? What's really good? How did that happen? Excuse me, Brian. Remember, Tony was like, he's Brian to me. But, like, Tony was not going to marry that man. I don't know what their relationship was, the dynamics of it, but Tony's not getting married, okay? Tamar says she is tired of living on Lemon Pepper Island, and I cackled because y'all will lemon pepper the shit out of something in Atlanta. She was like, it's just hookah and lemon pepper and hookah and lemon pepper. They would have a lemon pepper hookah if they could. Tony was like, I mean, we put guacamole on everything because Tony is still in between Atlanta and LA. Personally, I love lemon pepper like the next, but I go up for guacamole too. So, okay. So Tawanda shows up and her and Trina are wearing the same dress. Mess. Not only did y'all manage to buy the same dress, but to wear it on the same day. But see, these are the Braxton antics that we missed from Braxton family values. So they start talking about Tracy. Because they were like, it's odd how Tracy, like, there's an empty seat, somebody's missing. And they're like, Tracy's there, she's holding our purses. And they're all like reminiscing about how Tracy would be like, I ain't holding y'all purse, and get your purse, whatever. So we get a lot of flashbacks of Tracy. The flashbacks are hard. The flashbacks are hard. They're putting them in black and white for, the cinematic quality and value. But yeah. So we're getting flashbacks of just them being on the show together. Then we're getting flashbacks from, like, Tracy's final days and seeing how thin she was, and how kind of frail she was. But she seemed like still in good spirits. She's still talking with her sisters. She's still interacting with her sisters. We see her and Tony like dancing in a chair at one point. Like this was, wow. This was heavy. So they start talking about how Tracy, when she first started to realize that she had an issue, where they were at Tony's birthday party and Tracy was saying how she couldn't really swallow. Like, she's having difficulty swallowing. Like, something's not right. So she went to the doctor and found out she had cancer. She had esophageal cancer. I believe, fact check me. Don't quote me on that. Tony feels guilty because, Tony's the oldest. And Tony's like, I'm the sick one. And there's nothing that I could do to save Tracy. There's nothing I can do to help Tracy. So she feels horrible about that. Like, I only have one brother, right? And I know that if something happened to him, I would be devastated. So I can't even imagine. So we find out that Trina was there when Tracy took her last breath. And Miss E is saying how if anybody needs more help, more comfort, more support, it's Trina, because she was in the room. She was there at that moment. So Tamar brings up, we need some type of support. We need some type of grief counseling. And everybody agrees. And everybody's like, yep, yes, definitely. We need something. Tony then asks about Kevin Jr., about Lil Kevin. And I guess Tony is not in as close of contact with him as it seems that Tawanda and Trina are. So Tawanda was like, I mean, he's going through a divorce right now. And it's like, a divorce? So everybody at the table is like, what? Now, Tamar said that she sees Lil Kevin often. When she's back in Maryland, they go to dinner. They've been in conversation. He has never mentioned it. My first thing was, why are y'all putting this boy's business out here like this? Why are y'all putting his... I'm sure he consented to it being on the show, but why is this topic of discussion while y'all are filming? Come on, Tawanda. So Tony then tells them she went to the doctor, lets them know that she had to have a stent placed in. And basically, we know that Tony has a heart condition, right? And basically, they're telling her she's going to eventually need bypass surgery. And if Tony has a heart attack, she's not going to make it. She's not going to make it. So Tony is constantly living in a state of fear that I don't know if this is heartburn or if I'm having a heart attack and I'm getting ready to pass away. And that is such an eerie, scary, crazy way to have to live. So they're rallying around her and they're speaking words of encouragement on her and they're praying over her. And it's like, wow. Wow. So we then get Trina and Tawanda. They're out to dinner, or out to lunch, I should say. And they're talking about how Trina and Tawanda have always been the closest. The two of them live in Atlanta, so they're the closest together. Mikey and Tracy were in Maryland, so they were close because they were in close proximity. And then Tony and Tamar, were out in LA, so they were together. So we find out that Tawanda has alopecia, and that is why she has shaved her head. So kudos to Tawanda for bringing it up, for talking about it. This is now the second Black woman that we have seen on reality TV this year that has been very open about the fact that they have alopecia. Remember, for those of you that watch Summer House Martha's Vineyard, Jordan Emanuel, who is a cast member over there, she is suffering from alopecia, and she was very open this past season about her suffering with it and everything that comes along with it. She showed pictures, and she's been chronicling and documenting her treatment on her Instagram. But kudos to Tawanda for, coming out and saying it. We didn't know why Tawanda was bald, right? A lot of people just assumed that Tawanda went bald out of solidarity for Tracy because Tracy had cancer. A lot of cancer patients do end up losing their hair. We find out that all the sisters were supposed to go bald, and Trina just never did. Trina said, I have a round face. Like, mommy, that wasn't going to happen. So we do see later in the episode, like a flashback, and we see that Tony had shaved her head off. We see that Tony had shaved her hair off. It makes sense why Tamar was then bald when we saw her. So we get a scene of Trina talking about how Tracy was like rubbing all over Tawanda's hair, and there's patches of missing hair and the things that she was going through. And Tracy is who actually encouraged Tawanda, just cut the hair off. Tawanda looks good bald. Like, Tawanda's face card is never going to decline. Tawanda looks good bald, but that's a big step. It's a huge step. So Trina's saying that Kevin Jr. is on her mind, so they call him. He completely lights up seeing his aunts. You can see he completely lights up when they are both on the other side. So they're telling him that his hair looks good, and he's like, Olivia did it. Now, we had just heard in the scene before that Olivia and him are going through a divorce. So they're like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah, she did it last week. It's confusing because I don't know if she likes me, if she doesn't. She doesn't know if she wants to stay with me, if she doesn't. And it's like, whoo, child. So they tell him, look, we need to do some grief counseling. And he agrees. He's with it right away. He's saying how around Christmas it was hard for him because he wanted his mom there. And Trina's like, look, I don't want him to spiral. I'm worried. I don't want him to go down a dark path, especially around like holidays. We're like, yeah, you're gonna miss your mom for sure, but we don't want him to get to that point where it's like, you know what I mean? So he agrees for it. They're gonna set it up. So we're at the day of grief counseling. Tamar said that she's there just for moral support. She said she's had her counseling. And it's like, Tamar, the way that you've been spiraling all up and through the social media streets and the Atlanta streets, I don't think that you should be there just for moral support. I think you should be there to receive and partake as well. Okay? So Trina found this counselor. Her name is Spirit. And they're like, who is she? Where you find her? Where'd she come from? Apparently Spirit was there and who she like reached out to, consulted with after Gabe died. So remember, Trina's ex-husband Gabe passed away from cancer a couple years ago as well. So she's like, even though I wasn't fully ready to receive and do the work at that time with Gabe, you know, I know that a lot of the stuff that she started to talk about, like it helped me. It helped me with the questions that she was like trying to force me to answer. So I don't know how I feel about the blatant fourth wall just being there. Like we see the camera getting into place. We see them shuffling. The production was chef's kiss for sure. But I don't know. Something about that was just odd to me. So Mr. Braxton, Daddy Braxton is there. He's on Zoom with Kevin Jr. I wonder why Mikey wasn't there. Maybe Mikey doesn't want to be on film this season, but I was cracking up at their dad having Michael Braxton on his shirt, and they were all like, Daddy got his name on his shirt. Because it's such an old man thing to do, but it was so cute. I love seeing the entire family together. It's too bad Mikey wasn't there. So Spirit starts off right away and asks Trina, how do you feel? Trina doesn't want to answer, and I'm like, Trina. So Trina is like, I don't want to go first. And I'm like, here y'all go with this. Now, my thing is, I'm not saying that they have to rush into this, and I understand that grieving looks different for everybody. But y'all got this lady here. She's trying to help y'all. Why can't you just say, I'm sad my sister isn't here? Trina doesn't want to go first, though. Fine. She says she's not ready to say how she feels. So no one is talking at this point. So Tony, in her confessional, is saying how their family has horrific communication. And we know this. We've seen that, right? At least on the show. So we get the flashbacks to all their different family counseling sessions, and they never go well. Somebody's feelings are always hurt. They always go for the jugular. They're always gut punching each other. So yes, this is going to be no different. No different. So Spirit then asked them, so are we disconnected from our feelings? What are we doing? Because I can't help you guys if I don't know what the issue is. So Spirit lets them know, look, when I do counseling, for me, no one person is the issue. The issue is the issue, right? So we're trying to get to the root of it. We're not here to point fingers. We're not here to assign blame. We're here to sort out the issue. And that's how the episode ends. So I thought it was good. Like I said, there's a very heavy weight to it, but I have high hopes for the show. Let me know what you guys thought about the episode down below. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel, thumbs up the video, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace.